Welcome back. The Adamawa state government has inaugurated a 6-man committee to kickstart the National Livestock Transformation Plan, initiated by the federal government to tackle the menace of farmers-herders clashes. Adamawa, being one of the states affected by herdsmen-farmers clashes, is one of 7 designated states under the 10-year program, which will get grazing reserves with 4 ranches.
Adamawa is among the 7 pilot states for the Livestock Transformation Plan initiated by the federal government to tackle the farmers' herdsmen crisis. While inaugurating the committee, the Adamawa State Deputy Governor urges them to live up to expectations and find a lasting solution to the clashes between farmers and herdsmen.
I call on you to join hands for the success in the task ahead. It is said, if you want to go quickly, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Certainly, this program wants to go far.
The chairman of the committee explains the purpose of the transformation plan and how its approach will address the problem.
For us, as a state, have accepted to key into this very laudable federal government project shows the commitment of the administration to bringing a lasting solution to this menace.
Some residents, however, challenged the inclusion of Adamawa among the 7 pilot states for the National Livestock Transformation Plan 2019 to 2028.
Whatever name you give it, Ruga or ranching, is the same thing. Because we know in the past, we used to have Ruga in everywhere, and there has never been any problem. All of a sudden, we are now seeing crisis here and there. And if you bring in the Ruga program, will that stop the crisis?
If the government, as it masqueraded with the word National Livestock Transformation, in the program, they do not capture anything that has to do with piggery or poultry or any other livestock trade that does not involve the Fulani man. This is where the problem is.
But Professor Vore refused insinuations that the initiative is another name of Ruga settlements.
Than this, much touted Ruga initiative has nothing to do with the National Livestock Transformation Plan. Absolutely nothing.
According to him, there are 68 gazetted ranch reserves in Adamawa State, which will be used to start the Livestock Transformation Plan, all aimed at ensuring that crop and animal farmers can carry out their activities peacefully.
On the contrary, the Benue State House of Assembly has kicked against the establishment of Ruga settlements by the federal government across the country. The lawmakers have also described as false the claim that it would stop open grazing by herdsmen and end herders-farmers crisis across the country. Addressing journalists in Makurdi, the state capital, the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Mr. Titus Uba, insists that the federal government has no constitutional powers to allocate land for the establishment of Ruga Fulani settlements.
The federal government of Nigeria cannot freely allocate land for the establishment of Ruga Fulani settlement in Benue State, and the Benue State government would not give out Benue land for Ruga settlement initiative, even as there is inadequate land to meet the farming needs of the agrarian communities of the state. Therefore, the 9th Benue State Assembly as a parliament condemns in totality plans by an individual, group of persons, or the federal government to allocate any portion of land within Benue State for such a questionable project. To this end, I hereby categorically state that the Benue State House of Assembly rejects the move for Fulani Ruga settlement in Benue State and instead support the full implementation of the Open Grazing Prohibition and Ranches Establishment Law 2017, as ranching remains global best practice.
Residents of Afghanistan, a community close to Gombe city center in Gombe State, are asking for a better life through the establishment of basic amenities. Top on the list of their requests is a hospital, absence of which they say bring untold hardship on their pregnant women and children. Our community report tonight looks at the plight of the people.
Abganesta, a suburb of Gombe State, located about 4.8 kilometers away from the seat of power. This community has been in existence for the past 14 years with a population of hundreds of people. The area derives its name, Abganesta, from the local dialect which means, watch before you cross this gully. This dangerous gully poses a great threat to the people, especially during the rainy season. The residents, however, decry what they describe as the absence of government in the community.
Wanda muna da matsaloli da dama wanda a kafa anguwan da ya kai shekara 14 zuwa 15 yanzu da aka kafa anguwa mun samu ci gaba na al'umma amma ba mu da wani ci gaba na abun da gwamnati wanda zamu yi alfahari da shi koda guda ɗaya ne.
This amateur footage tells a tale of this community. 27-year-old Jamila Sulaiman is expecting her second baby. Labor has set in with no access road, bridge and healthcare facility in the area. The only option is for the family to use the only available and convenient means of transportation to any nearby health facility.
That we had cases that are even beyond that. In my constituency, I have 2 polling units that are behind the mountain that it's not motorable, rather than even pushing someone in a wheelbarrow. You can't even push in a wheelbarrow. So what they do is they tie him on woods, you know, fashioned woods that is used to carry, tie the lady or the woman in labor on woods that is fashioned to carry dead bodies. You know, they will carry the person and brought to where there will be health services also in case there are complications. Yes, so we are facing those issues. What we are doing now is to highlight those environments where those issues are. Is then to provide health services close by or to create access to health services that are let me say, a stone throw from those areas. So,
over the years, this gully is said to have swept many away, including school children, while trying to cross over to their houses after school when it rains and overflows.
Masu shugabanni wanda muke bukatar su mulke mu kuma ba mu da mazaɓa wanda ya kamata mu yi zaɓe a cikin anguwan sai mun fita wani guri ba mu da hanya ba mu da ruwa ba mu da makaranta ba mu da asibiti sannan kuma ba mu da wani takamaiman abun ci gaba a cikin anguwanmu. Muna neman alfarma a gurin mai girma gwamna.
While majority of the residents get their water from this gully, others are comfortable buying from private operators. Mindless of the risk that lies ahead, children also take fun in bathing and fishing in the stagnant water. No doubt the situation here is begging for attention, and the residents are hoping their cry will attract the necessary attention and will bring about a meaningful impact on their community.
To another community now, the business community, which has called on the federal government to look seriously into the scenario of multiple exchange rates to boost institutional investor confidence in Nigeria. The speakers made their points clear at the 7th annual Christopher Kolade lecture on business integrity.
It's another time of the year dedicated to the celebration of a man described variously, but with descriptions that are always anchored and weaved around his integrity work. In the last 6 years, lecture series like this one has been put together where conversations are held to replicate in more ways what Dr. Christopher Collody represents. The 7th has as its theme governance, leadership and ethics, how to build thriving economy. And who better leads the park than the icon of ethical leadership?
This annual lecture is not just another get-together. It is a place where we try to talk about those things that we believe will lead us to the destination that we all share, which is to build a good nation, build a good society. We need to practice a culture in this country, a culture of mutual accountability. Mutual accountability means that we will all agree on the standards that we think we should cultivate.
According to him, one of the reasons why it is difficult to practice the same level of discipline, standards and value is because we have not reached an agreement as a people on what we want to build together. So the next speaker tells us some examples of a quick fix.
We must consider urgently as a nation fixing this scenario of multiple exchange rates that we have created. We spend over 1 trillion naira annually as a nation subsidizing petrol consumption. So we need to introduce a cost-reflective tariff, which is the only way that we are going to get the necessary investments into the sector.
For Mr. Femi Awuyemi.
The Economic Recovery Growth Plan is the federal government's roadmap for growth and development. But that is a bit unrealistic. Here are the reasons.
The ARGP is a good work of fiction. All economic plans are, by the way. That's not a knock on it. All economic plans are. The only time when a plan becomes a real document is when it stands on 3 things. You have policies that comes with it, you have programs, and then you have projects. So all those things we were talking about, infrastructure, falls within those last 2. When you cannot cost a plan, therefore, that plan cannot work in itself.
The Lagos State Deputy Governor was also put on the spot on delivery of good governance.
We will do our part because we had that contract with the people, even though it's unsigned. But people voted for us. So we will not take that trust lightly. And therefore, we will also engage and explain to our people what we are trying to do. Because the reality is we don't know all. So we engage every strata of the community, of the society to say, these are the things we want to do. If you have ideas, bring it on. So we share ideas and then we understand what the people need and then we go and implement. So our job is to make sure that we implement well.
One consensus arising from this meeting is the call for all to really think, meditate and act on the words and composition of the country's national anthem. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, 108th FIFA-ranked Madagascar stunned the Super Eagles of Nigeria atop Group B at the Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt. Stay with us.